how does heritage, tradition, and local culture play into your music, or does it at all?
I wouldn't say there's a direct link between my upbringing, my cultural, traditional upbringing, and the music I currently make. Like, I'm not going around sampling Chinese orchestras or Getai events to put in my music. I think the culture and traditions that I was born with definitely shaped my worldview, and that subsequently affected the music I make.
Mern, or Manfred as he is known outside of the EDM world, offers to teach me a trick or two.
Usually there are a few ways where I start songs, right? We're gonna have to build off each other right now. So like, just name me something that you're feeling right now.
I guess the thing that I'm thinking of is rising and falling, how everything that goes up has to come down and everything is in constant flux and constant change.
Got it. Okay. Can you just tap a BPM for me? Just like the tempo you want.
So that's the BPM, like how fast the song is.
Yeah, I like to start with the drums because it forms the backbone of the song.
Music has always been a part of Mern's life. From learning to play the trombone at the age of 8 to taking classical piano lessons. He learnt to program dance beats on a laptop and soon discovered he could make music right in his bedroom. Some of the tracks he's produced have gotten more than 1 million hits on YouTube.
Sounding good, right? And this is just the beginning.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I need to start writing now.
Something is cool?
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. I love it. But I'm feeling the urge to fill up these pages.
Just trying to make it interesting.
Crystallizer! Whoa.
With effects, yeah.
Yeah, that's epic. So now it's my turn.
'Cause if it falls, it will rise. 'Cause if it falls, it rises. 'Cause if it falls, it will rise. If it falls, it rises.
So making music, creating anything takes time and effort. But if you have passion, that's all the fuel you need. And I think Mern's got plenty of that. I'm grateful to have made this thing with him today. Yeah. Music transcends cultural and linguistic boundaries. It helps people speak from the soul. This episode, I met some passionate musicians making diverse music. Of course, a place multicultural like Singapore creates a multifaceted music scene. I'm glad to have been able to share some of it with you. But it doesn't end there. Here's the talented singer-songwriter Adia Tay to take us out of here.
You have a dream. I think music is also like storytelling, right? And I think music captures sort of the country's history as we go. And I think when I think about Singapore, we don't have our own homegrown music scene. We're just going to end up being a country of cover gigs and songs from other people. And we need our own identity, our own story. You have a song that I just can't sing enough. You have a song that feels alright. You have a wish in every prayer that I
How I came to work with people with autism, it was not something that I naturally thought of before. I think my cause is just to make life better for someone.
The nature of a work, it matched the strength of a group of people with autism that are very strong visually, have a strong focus on details, and are good with their hands.
I have been working at Eden and Ellie for more than a year. I like working with my hands.
I felt happy when I was chosen for training at Eden and Ellie.
When he was 13, he sometimes kicked teachers.
Stop it!
If we cannot help him to cope with this, I thought he's not be able to get a job in the future.
We've had other investors who come to us and say, well, if you want to scale as a business, the traditional model is, don't do handmade. You have to go elsewhere and get someone to produce it for you. And you take a step back, you realize, well, our whole goal here is to actually employ them, provide them meaningful work. We have the responsibility to take care of them.
I've been asked, do you want to make sure that people know that your jewelry is made by adults with autism? So really put it front line and center in your brand. We don't do that. When the work speaks for itself, by calling out that particular aspect of themselves, I feel like it accentuates the wrong thing.
Junyoung has become more confident and independent in many ways and more flexible. He really tried to regulate his emotion when he's upset.
I'm really proud of my artisans with autism. I'm proud of my artisans, period. They do incredible work. I think what I see is I see so much focus and courage, right, in learning a new skill. I think that's just seeing them work brings me a lot of joy.
In Thai, people greet each other asking, "Kin khao ri yang?" Have you eaten already? While once enjoying a meal, another might wonder if the prices will remain the same. But at least for a little while, one can take pause and savor what the city has to offer. Saksetsaya Sombak, CNA, Bangkok.
This Saturday, counting the cost of the global chip shortage.
Capacity doesn't just expand on a dime, right? It takes time.
The move to new revenue streams in Singapore's tourism sector.
It's not going to be a numbers game as it used to be.
Plus turning today's food waste into tomorrow's beverages.
We are quite adamant about proving that there are better ways to do things.
Saturday on CNA.
This is Asia Now.
It is 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi and 1 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Jill Newbronner. At this hour, another grim record for India as COVID-19 batters the nation. There have been more than 2,100 deaths and over 300,000 fresh cases in the last 24 hours. Indonesia keeps up the hunt for a submarine that went missing with dozens on board. Singapore and Malaysia are sending search vessels to help. Hunger looms for millions in crisis-torn Myanmar. A UN agency says more than 3 million people will struggle to fill their stomachs in the coming months. And climate change takes center stage at the CNA Leadership Summit. India has clocked another bleak record as COVID-19 continues to siege the country. More than 2,100 people have lost their lives in the last 24 hours. Over 300,000 fresh infections have also emerged. This brings India's total number of coronavirus infections to 15.9 million and more than 184,000 fatalities. The crisis has stretched healthcare to breaking point. Hospitals are battling a severe shortage of medical oxygen. The highest court in New Delhi has slammed the federal government over its handling of the city's oxygen crisis. The court says it is the government's responsibility to beg, borrow and steal to ensure enough oxygen supplies. The government was also questioned why the industrial use of oxygen is still allowed when people are dying. Ishanga tells us more.
Well, the situation is really bad. The Chief Minister of New Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, just yesterday said that there are some government hospitals which have got oxygen that can last for 2 to 3 days, while there are private hospitals which would literally run out of oxygen any minute now. Some of the hospitals only had supplies that could last for 2 to 3 hours, and this could potentially have put more than 1,500 lives at risk of patients who were put on life support. But just yesterday, the federal government has increased the quota of oxygen that can be supplied to states badly hit by the pandemic, and New Delhi is one of the states that's going to benefit from it. Just yesterday, a high court in